What's going on? Lawson here, 6:20 in the afternoon. The wind's blowing about 15, super strong. The tide, as you can see, the sandbar over here is completely dead low right now, and it's just on the beginning side of starting to come in, so I really got no water movement, a little too windy for my liking, and a low tide, but I'm going to see if I can get some fish to play around with on some docks. I got a big, long dock line that way, probably about 25 docks that stretch that way. I'm just going to let the tide and current slowly blow me across, and I'm going to be using this DOA near clear shrimp right here. I have it on a micro light setup. This is a 1,000 size Shimano Stratic, and I have a 6'9" light action pole right here. So I'm going to be finesse fishing around these docks. I only have 12-pound leader on here, so hopefully I don't hook into anything too monstrous, or if I do, that it runs out instead of in. But I'm going to try to hook up with some fish off the docks, and I'll give you any tips and advice what I can do, and hopefully I'll be able to show you some good looking fish. So I'm going to talk a little bit about positioning on the dock, where I want to throw. So the reason docks are such great spots for fish, whether it be snook or jack, snapper, whatever you're targeting, is because the structure and the shade that the structure provides. So that's what we're looking for, is good shaded spots. So we're going to throw our shrimp up right against the piling that pools out into the shade. And I'm going to let my shrimp sink all the way to the bottom. And then on my retrieve, it's just a slow twitch, let it sink. Oh, look, there's a fish already. He's coming out for me. That's what I'm talking about right there, though. Look at that, it's a big old snapper. That's what I was talking about right there. Glad that worked out quick for me. See if I can flip him into the boat. He's strong, man. Nice big snapper. Look at that big mangrove snapper right there. That is a cow. Oh, well, I'm glad he flipped inside the boat. Okay. Pick him up nice. Look at that big fat mangrove snapper right there. Beautiful coloring. I don't know if you know why they call them snapper. They got mean old teeth up front that they like to snap down with, and they got some mean canines right there. That's a beautiful snapper. Regulation size in them, they got to be 10 inches, but I'm not going to keep them. Don't really have any interest in it. But that's a great fish right there. And it was just what I was talking about, where you throw it against the structure, you throw it against the shade where the structure meets, and that's where they're going to pick up your bait, you know. And he came out and hammered it. And that's what I'm talking about. Hopefully, be able to show you some more fish just like that. Maybe some big snook, hopefully. But right now, I'm going to release this guy. So off he goes. Holy cow. He's ready. Awesome. So what we're coming up right here, this is actually really cool, something I'm glad I get to talk about, is right here we have like an old abandoned sport fishing boat, or kind of more of like a cabin cruiser. And the reason this is such a good thing is because big boats like this in the river, they rarely ever move. As you see, this one's cracked to the hull and stuff like that, so it's obviously barely going to move anyways. But the people don't use these boats that much, so they sit in the water and they provide a great structure for fish to hang around. And with these big boats, they've dredged around these docks to be deeper, specifically to hold their bigger boat. And so there's nice holes underneath these docks that hold bigger fish. There's a fish. I think it's a nice little snooky. Reach down and try to land them here. These little ones are so finicky. They'll come off by the boat 90% of the time right here. Here we go, little snook with DOA sticking out of his mouth right there. We'll pop this right out of there for him. Bada bing, bada boom. Nice little beautiful little snook right there. He's a little one, but showing how dock fishing can work and be productive. I was just letting that DOA shrimp sit right there on the bottom, and he just came up and slurped it right on the edge of the dock. Ooh. Even these little ones, they have a razor sharp gill plate right there that will just cut your fingers open so bad. It's so sharp, so you gotta be careful when handling these fish. We'll release him and let him get right back to his dock that he was at. Even these little ones, make sure you revive them well. Even the little ones have trouble swimming off sometimes. So this is kind of something interesting I'll show you right here. Something to take note of. It's low tide right now, so you can really see docks for what they are. And it's really helpful to know that this dock is just absolutely loaded with oysters. I mean, thousands of them. And that can be really helpful for someone who's new to fishing an area, or you're just starting to fish a certain area. You know, if you move there, you just got into fishing. It's really helpful to know which docks are loaded with structure. And I fish every day in this river, so I know that this dock has a ton of oysters on it. But, you know, at low tide, when you go out, you can really see what these docks hold. And, you know, and maybe right now at low tide, there might not be enough water, but you come back at high tide, and there could be some big fish sitting on a dock like this that's just loaded with oysters. So that's just a helpful tip to keep thinking of when you're at low tide. You know, sometimes the bite's not great because there's just not a lot of water in the river, but if you see, you can really observe and learn a lot for your next trip out. A really great tactic to use when you're fishing on docks like this, right here, is skipping your bait. And so it works best with soft plastic baits like this. And what you want to do is you keep your rod low to the water like that, and it's like skipping a stone. It takes practice, but eventually you can learn how to skip your bait up in the spots and avoid getting tangled, you know, in high objects like the dock or the boat lift. And that can really up your game for fishing around structures, docks, mangroves, anything, you know. And the more you practice, the better you get it, and you'll learn the secrets, being able to just pitch it underneath a dock like that. And even, oh gosh, get out, get out, get out, get out. Come on, he's wrapped me around the piling, get off. Yeah, there we go. Look at that, just talking about skipping, and a fish came out and hammered it. I was saying that skipping noise. What the heck, dude? Are you kidding me? The catfish. I don't know if I've ever had a hard head hit a DOA shrimp that hard. It's a big old catfish too, man. I mean, it's a big for a hard head, at least. That's random. Alright, well, I got excited. I thought I had a nice snook on. It's alright, though. Let's see if we can pull this guy in. I don't know if I'll even pull him in just because I don't feel like getting stuck. You hear him grunting away already. I'm gonna pull him to the back. I'm gonna get my pliers and just unhook him here. Reach down for my pliers. But, you know, not the targeted species, but that's proof right there that the skip works, because, you know, that noise of the shrimp skipping across top of the water sounds like a bait being chased out of the water, and that's what's going to draw them in, you know. You want to be careful when dealing with these catfish, because they got just absolutely terrible, terrible spines. Oh, that's great. Glad you guys got to see that. So now, pretty much on my own here. I'm so hesitant about grabbing these things now because I've been stabbed one too many times by a catfish. And it is no joke about how bad these things hurt. Okay. It's coming. There we go. Nice, fat, hardhead catfish. That thing is just chubby. There we go. They're pretty fish, but not really. When I'm targeting, but not a $50 fish, it just made me lose my pliers into the water. But that's my own fault. So, whatever. Alright. Closing out the night. Finished on their docks. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and some of the tips I gave you about fishing on our docks, and if anyone wants, I can even do a more in-depth video, you know, about how I break apart a dock and what docks I think hold fish and what baits I like to use most underneath docks. But for now, I hope you guys like that kind of short video I'm going to do about fishing underneath docks, and check you next week for the next video. Peace.